So one of the most controversial foreign/domestic policy issues during Donald Trump's presidency was right after he secured the presidency in January. He institutes an executive order, colloquially known as the Muslim ban. And essentially this is a immigration law that severely cuts down to the point of not having any immigrants coming from the majority Muslim countries in the Middle East, but not all of those countries, making people think that he was targeting a religion, a country with a majority religion. And that is why it is known as, that's why people call it, especially the media, the Muslim ban. And this is controversial. Even though it ended, it was a 6-month ban. It's currently, right now, it's being debated on the Supreme Court, and it will hit the table in, I think, June of 2018, and we will find out whether or not President Trump was legally allowed to do what he did from banning immigration from those countries. President Trump will also recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and will move the U.S. embassy there, which is a huge move for U.S.-Israel relations, as the U.S. has always been a supporter of Israel, and this is just one step further. Some miscellaneous stuff to talk about during President Trump's presidency is the Women's March that happened in 2017. Nope, 2018. I don't know. That happened within the last year, and this was for a number of reasons. For the pay gap, the wage gap between men and women that is still going on, and increasing numbers are being reported for that, as well as some accusations against the president himself during his campaign and during his presidency of mistreating women and sexual harassment. And so many people were speaking out against that, as well as out against regular women's rights issues such as equal pay, the admonishment of rapists in court, those sort of things. We also see in President Trump's cabinet kind of a revolving door. A lot of people resigning or being fired, which is interesting if you were to look up the list. I think right now it's up to like 11 or 12 of his cabinet members have either been fired or resigned, which is not new to a presidency, just interesting to be living during a time period where that happens. The 2016, next on the list of miscellaneous, the Russia hack. The 2016 election was supposedly hacked by Russia in favor of Donald Trump, and evidence against this is still coming to light and sparse at the moment. But essentially, one of the ways that could affect teenagers or young adults who are of voting age was supposedly the Russian government created a lot of Facebook ads and Facebook pages and Facebook campaigns that were pro-Trump. For what reason is yet to come to light. And finally, one of the biggest issues, I think, of course, these are my opinions on what's the biggest issue for President Trump, but essentially what is most controversial is what we're talking about is the Dreamers Act, or DACA. And that is, Dreamers are essentially those people that were brought to America unknowingly as children by parents that were undocumented. So they themselves, the Dreamers, are undocumented. And DACA is a program put forth, I believe, during Barack Obama's presidency that allowed them to go to college, to provide funding, to still get scholarships, and opened up a lot of career and college education opportunities for them, even though they were undocumented immigrants, and essentially granted them amnesty for it not being their fault that they came here undocumented because they were not at an age where they could make the decision themselves. And President Trump has targeted DACA as something that he wants to bring down. From what we can see in the media, he kind of bounces back and forth from protecting the Dreamers to targeting them and possibly their parents who are undocumented immigrants. Now, again, I just want to say that these are just things that have been most highlighted in the news within the year of Trump's presidency. These in the future could be super minute and unimportant 20 years down the road when evaluating Trump's presidency, but living in history and teaching what's important of what you're living is extremely, extremely difficult. So I encourage you guys to keep up with the news all the time. On the APUSH test, you will only see multiple choice questions on some of this stuff. Period 9, which is 1980 to the present day, like yesterday, is only 5% of the tests and only possibly 5% of the multiple choice. So don't stress too much over this stuff, but keep up with the news because it's important for you to be well informed, and it's also important for you to possibly answer a multiple choice question correct because you watch this video or you keep up with the news and know what's going on. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. It's been a great year, and I'm so glad we're finally done with all of history. Have a great day.